Oh, I'm in my scheduled live. Have to do this. Hey, 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 what's up? What's up? What's up? Sorry that I am late for my live. This is Fam. What's up? All right. What's up, everybody? All right. Um, welcome to my channel. This is April. What's up, my TCG fam? Thank you for coming. As you come in, please like the video. Most of you may probably watch it on a replay. So please like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, because this is how we do it. We speak the truth here, and we say the things that people don't want to say. They're thinking, but they don't want to say it. So that's what we do here. And the main topic right now is the Puffy trial, the P. Diddy trial, the Diddy trial, the Puff Daddy trial, Sean Puffy Combs, aka Love. That's who we're talking about, the Puffy trial. What is going on? Okay, so we're going to get into some things because we're going to speak our opinion from the trenches. Now we speak from the trenches, so we keep it real. So y'all remember that. Mm, mm, mm. First of all, as you see in the title, I don't know who's checked out Tasha K's interview with what's this guy, Cassius Smith, this cute guy, Cassius Smith. I'm gonna say cute because Cassius Smith, he reminds me of one of those, like, back in the day, b-boy type of dude. But the stuff that he said in that interview was crazy. That was crazy stuff. Let me look in the right place. Okay. So that stuff was crazy. I cannot believe that he said it. I would play some of the clips, but I don't know what's allowed with, Tasha K's channel. I don't want to get copywritten and all that stuff like that because we're trying to grow our channel, right? TCG fam? Right. So, but yeah, this guy, what did he say? First of all, I want to say, if people think that, well, we know that everybody knows stuff about Puppy, right? That's not a surprise. We're not surprised about that stuff. And if you're surprised, then that probably means that you've been hiding under a rock or something. If you're surprised about Puppy's lifestyle. For real, you've been hiding under a rock. But this stuff is juicy. I don't care. I don't care what no one says. This stuff is juicy. It's like most of us are looking at this like entertainment. This is entertaining. This is very juicy stuff that's coming out. So let's talk about this interview. Oh my goodness. With Cassius Smith. Let's talk about this interview. This dude said, now this is all alleged, okay? This dude said that Puffy had herpes. What in the world? What is going on? What is going on? This is really some juicy stuff. This man said Puffy had herpes. Now remember during the trial when there was, Cassie testified and she said that she was forced to keep on going days and days, and her, she had sores in her mouth. Explain something, right? Okay, so that could explain something. But you know what? More surprising. Why did this guy? I don't know what ASAP Rocky would have to do with this trial. I don't know why he brought this up. I mean, I haven't heard ASAP Rocky's name at all in anything. But this guy said that ASAP Rocky, this is all alleged, but this is what he said. Cassius Smith, he said ASAP Rocky was gay, and he said that Rihanna knows. Now let me tell you something about me, because I follow hip hop, and it's not even hip hop. I'm not gonna put it on hip hop, because hip hop, we'll get into that in a second too. But the music industry, we all know, in any industry, we all know that there are gay people, right? So I'm not surprised about that. I'm surprised about the part when he said Rihanna knows. So that goes back to what we were talking about a long time ago about beards. So women are knowing that they're, now this is all alleged. I don't know if that man is gay or not. But if that man is gay and Rihanna knows it, that means that she's a beard. That's what that means. So, like I said, some people know that they're beards, and they just keep on moving with it, right? So yeah, this stuff is crazy. I just can't believe that this guy would say these things. Like, could he be sued for that? I can't believe he spilled the beans, and no one's talking about it. Everybody's talking about what's going on in the trial. It's like the stuff that he said. Honestly, the stuff that he said in the interview, it actually is matching certain things that's been said on the stand. So, it's just like 50 Cent, for so many years he's been saying stuff about Puffy, right? And there has to be some truth. There had to be some truth at some point with something, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if this guy, Cassius Smith, who was around Puffy for what, over 20 years, worked for Puffy, if he is saying the stuff that he said, and if someone on the stand takes a stand and they say something, the same thing of they're saying the same thing, then there has to be some truth in at somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. I can't believe that. And see, the thing is, like, even after all this, even after the stuff that he said in his interview, and even after all the stuff that's coming out, I still can't believe that. Oh, hey, I didn't even realize anybody was in here. Hey, G, NMK, Bonte. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Please like the video. I really appreciate you coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. So, yeah, I'm talking about this interview with this Cassius Smith and the stuff that he let out the bag. This guy, oh my God, this guy let out so much. My birthday is in April. But this guy let out so many things. He let the bag out. This guy said things like, I would be, even if they were true, and this is what someone told, because from what he said, someone told him that. The person, Mia supposedly, no, not Mia, the one before Mia, let me pull up the assistant that testified before this Mia, starts with a C, but that girl said, from what he said, she told him that Puffy has herpes, and that ASAP Rocky is gay, and Rihanna knows it. Let me tell y'all something. It's gonna be so many people that comes out, that name's gonna come up, just like Michael B. Jordan, his name came up, and of course, it was very innocent. He just, from what Cassie said, he allegedly dated her for a period or a moment. So yeah, but let's because I really haven't followed today because I've been busy, but I want to pull up some of today's information. But what is going on? Is this going to change hip hop? Is this going to change hip hop? You think, like, all these people that's probably going to come out, like, is it going to change hip hop? Does it mean that, like, how many people do you think it is? How many people are out there in hip hop that we know that are actually gay. Like all the stuff that we heard about Meek Mills and that stuff, I didn't believe that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I first heard that, I was like, they saying stuff and making stuff up. But now I'm like, dang, 50 Cent was onto something. That's what I'm thinking now. Okay, so they moved on. So they're finished with Mia. So today they actually, okay, so Mia was cross-examined. Now the cross-examining started yesterday. So I do know that. So today there was Derek Ferguson. But you know what? Let me say this. Why does this man have so much power? Like these people were willing to do anything and everything that this man asked. You know what I'm saying? This man, this this is this shows like what people will actually do for money and power. Money and when I say power, I mean like when there's people that starstruck, like they'll do anything to be around certain people with names and people with a lot of money. Because I'm telling you, just like I said the other day, I don't care who I work for. I don't care how much I'm paid. I'm not going to sit in the restroom with you while you are pooping and take notes. Like, that was crazy. Who in the world would do that? Like, I'm not doing that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like these people were willing and willing to do anything and everything. Money and power. That's what it is. And the thing is, but out of all the things that's coming out, honestly, even with the interview, even with the stuff that's coming out in the trial, I still don't see these sex trafficking. I still don't see what is it? Racketeering. I don't see sex trafficking. I don't see this. I really don't. I don't see it, and I think that I think it's pretty crazy. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't know where y'all are from or what era everybody grew up in, but let's just say this: back in the day, when I was in college, do you know people like going to the mansion parties? That was like something that people did. That was not like, I guess, let me just say this. I guess allegedly we've been committing crimes that we didn't know we were committing. I'm just going to say that because I just don't see these federal charges that they're putting on Diddy. I still don't see it. I see some domestic violence, which we saw in the video. We saw that, right? From South Carolina, Rico. What's up, Rico? How you doing? Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. So, are you following the trial? You guys following the trial at all? So, I'm just reading over what occurred today. But yeah, the herpes thing is, I wasn't expecting that. You know what? We shouldn't be surprised. I'm honestly now, with all the activity and the baby oil, and let me just say this: if you are using baby oil, is known to pop rubber. So even if you're using protection, baby oil is not. You're not supposed to use an oil-based substance because it'll pop your condom. Okay, so if there were condoms being used, that messed it up, the baby oil. But the thing is, like, we should not be so surprised about the alleged herpes. We should not be so surprised about that because if you're doing menage a trois and you're, sleeping with this and then, you're just having your freedom and fun, like, it's liable for stuff to be passed around. Hey Isaiah, how you doing? So yeah, It's pretty crazy. It's really crazy. This stuff is crazy. So I can't. So are y'all following the trial? Anybody following the trial? Anybody have anything to say about what do y'all think about the herpes thing? Oh my goodness, it's crazy, right? This herpes, that's crazy. And then like I said, back onto the ASAP Rocky. I'm not the ASAP Rocky is not like I don't know if y'all go back if when y'all get a chance, not right now. Okay, stay on the line with us. But when y'all get a chance, go look at the Drink Champs when ASAP Rocky was there and ASAP Rocky, T.I., and somebody else was there on Drink Champs. It was like probably 7 or 8 years ago. Go look at it and tell me what y'all think about ASAP Rocky because if you look at that, and he was not with Rihanna. Being marrying Rihanna was boost his confidence. I'm sure. He's up here now. He's stepped his game up. He's upgraded himself. Let me say that. So his confidence and his level is higher, and that's what I'm saying about the assistants. That's what they were doing. They stepped there. They when you are working for someone with a big name or who has a lot of money, it makes some people feel like, okay, I got it. I made it. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. So they'll do anything and everything to keep their position because they know that there's hundreds of people that want to be in that same position. So that's what it seems to me. And the thing is, let me say this. So from my understanding, the feds come to these came to these people and they're like, we have evidence of you hiring this, doing this, setting up this, blah blah blah, all these things, right? That means that they're co-conspirators. Okay, but guess what? It's just like the lower level, like the street. They don't want the little corner boys. They don't. The government doesn't want the corner boys. They want to get the big fish. They want to get the kingpins and where is your source? You know what I'm saying? They want to get the big stuff. So it's just like that with this situation with Puffy. They're and honestly, whoever started this whole the rumors of the sex trafficking and all this stuff, like it's like someone whoever started the initial charges, I'm gonna tell you, it seems like they have to be new school. Sounds stupid. They have to be very new school because I mean, how long have they been like people have been hiring like dancers, you know what I'm saying? Hiring dancers. Oh yeah, we're gonna pay 150 per head, hiring people to come to their parties, Super Bowl parties, all that stuff. Like that's actually well, I know here in Georgia now, that's just a normal thing. So I don't know how the feds have come to racketeering and sex trafficking and all this stuff because if that's the case, then a lot of people are committing those crimes as well. But also with Puffy, I'm going to say this too. So when it comes to hip hop and gay, so we know that most people who probably in hip hop, most hip hop artists, right, who may be gay, they're not just going to come out and say it. They're going to hide it, just like in the regular community. A lot of people feel ashamed to express themselves truthfully, right? Worried about what other people may think about them, right? So, um, shoot, I lost my train of thought that quick. I lost. I cannot believe that happened. Oh my goodness. I have lost my train of thought. I was talking about hip hop. I was talking about okay, the people not coming out, trying to hide Okay, so they're not going to come out and admit things that are talked down about. You know what I'm saying? In a certain um, group of people. So if a certain group of people are known to laugh or talk down to these certain people, then in this group of people, if you have some of those that have come into this group, they're not gonna openly say, "Hey, I'm gay." You know what I'm saying? But you know what? To be quite honest, I think that people need to be real. You know, at this point in life, people need to be real. And I'm not saying that I condone any type of thing that people's preferences, that's their business. But I think people need to be real, and I think, and then like stop with the beards, just be real. Stop it with it. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens in these relationships where there's beards. These men are thinking, okay, well nobody's gonna know. I'm gonna have a wife and have children. Nobody's gonna know what I am really, right? So hey Cam, what's up? Am I a cougar? um, I don't think so, but I mean, what's a cougar? Like an older woman that likes young men? Mm-mm. I guess I'm not. No, I'm not a cougar for sure. Because yeah, as far as like, well, I'm married, but as far as like having a relationship with a young guy, um, they would have to be a really, I mean, if I wasn't married, they would have to be a really, really, really mature young guy. Because let me say this, when I was in my early 20s, like I dated older men when I was in my early 20s. So I've always been attracted to the more mature. I've never been like, I'm gonna tell you why, Cam. Good question. Let me just say this, and I know we're getting way off subject, but I'm gonna tell you why. So when I was um, in college, me and this guy did not go to my school, but we were going on a date. I had a car, he did not have a car, so I was going to his house to pick him up. I went to his house to pick him up, and he came out of his house. Now I'm in his driveway, right, waiting in my car. He came out of his house, he opened the door, and before he gets in the car, he keep in mind he's right in front of his house. Before he gets in the car, he turns and he actually starts urinating. Like, just takes it out and starts urinating, like I guess in his grass, whatever. And I was like, you know, he could have went back inside to do that or whatever. I I couldn't believe that. And then the next thing, like that same moment, um, when he finished doing that, hands. So, like I said, he could have just went inside and did that, but he sat in the car. When he was sitting down, like as he was sitting down, his now back in the day, y'all wear skinny jeans, but back in the day, they wore like really big. Back in my time, they wore like um big baggy jeans. Okay, that was the thing back then. But I'm gonna tell you, so as he was sitting down, his pants kind of went lower, and I saw his underwear, and I just oh my goodness, I was like, it was just something gross about. I was like, oh my god, and all I thought as I'm driving, like I didn't even want to go on the date. I didn't even want to go to the. It was dingy, and what I don't know about you, right? It was dingy. It was dingy. And I was like, it was like the gray boxers, but you know how when they're not, oh my gosh. I, I've never told anybody that. But yeah, it was kind of dingy. And um, the whole time I'm driving, like I did not enjoy myself. I lost focus. Like I don't even, I couldn't even tell you this guy's name. Right. I couldn't tell you his name because I'm telling you, when I saw that, I was like, I just thought about him sitting on my seat. I just thought about his underwear on my seat. That's all I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, he's got those gross underwear on my seat. And I was like, his hands are dirty. I was just like, it was just, so that's, so those are the type of things that I think, that, you know, um, young men do. So that's the reasons why when I was in my early 20s, I dated older men because they tend to, have a little more knowledge about, having a little more business about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Colfax. So, thank you all for coming in. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe. We are following the Diddy trial, as I say, from the trenches, okay? We speak the truth. We speak our minds here. And as you see, Cam and Colfax, y'all are bringing me away from topic, but that's cool because we're a family here. That's what we're building, and that's that. So, but that's a good question about. I never thought about that, but yeah, I've never been. I never thought about being a cougar. I did not. What was it about? I did not see. I haven't seen Tracy Ellis Ross in years since um she hosted the BET Awards with Anthony with wait Anderson Anthony Anderson. She does. She likes younger Tracy Ellis Ross like younger men. Oh my goodness! Wow. I wonder what she. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder what she likes about younger men. Oh wee. Now I'm gonna tell you, I have dated as she explained why. Well, I have to check that out. Wow. Well, you know what? I know some women. I have friends that date younger men. They will not dare date a man their age or older. But I just, it like I said, it would have to be a very. He would have to be a very, very mature. He would probably have to be what's considered a nerd. Because I just, uh-oh. You're not what? I don't, let me see. So you're not what? You're not into what? I don't understand what you mean. I'm not. Oh, I know, right? Are you I can't see your picture, so I apologize, but are you male or female? Perfect. Hey, G. I'm thinking that you are, yeah. Because you know what? Probably most men, they're gonna beg to differ, right? They're gonna say, yeah, men now they can date younger, but I just can't do it. Oh, gee, what's up? I just can't. I don't know. I just don't have, you know, I've tried. I tried a long time ago, but it's just something about. I'm telling you, the last time I dated someone younger, because that wasn't the last time that little experience there, but the last time I dated someone younger as an adult, as a a mature lady, um, you know what? With her being Tracy Ellis Ross, her options are probably different than mine would be. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, different people flock to her probably because of who she is. you're divorced and happy being single. You know what? You would be happy being single depending on what type of marriage you had. Because some people don't want to be single. Some people. But yeah, the last time I dated a younger dude was a while back. Right. It was work. That's exactly. Gee, that's how I felt. I felt like it was a lot of work that you have to put into it. You just couldn't just go with the flow. You had to put so much in, and that's the thing about it. Like, yeah, that's the thing. Like this guy that I met, um, very handsome young man, so handsome. Um, we went to we went out to eat, and we met each other there at the restaurant. Seemed like a cool dude. I was like, okay, he was a little mature, but he was young now. But um, as we were communicating over the phone, though, like I noticed his abruptness, like so he was into texting. He was into texting, and so I had to get used to like communicating via text. So he was into texting. He would text like, So when we would get on the phone and talk, it was very abrupt. He would be like, "Okay, I'll call you back," stuff like that. So I was like, "Okay, something's up with that." I already knew because something's up with that. Well, it just so happens that this dude was living with his child's. Oh, it's on the outside of the window. His child's mother, and so they were a together. And so one day, and the way I found out is because I got this phone call from this young female. I could tell by her voice she was so young, and it was so funny. Oh, let me tell y'all about this. So this girl called my phone, and she was very mad at first. She was like, "Oh, you talking to my so and so?" Oh my goodness. I was like, and she said her name, and I remember now he did tell me that he had a child, and and everything. So I when she said her name, I was like, this is what. Oh, so they are actually together, right? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, this is so funny, but for some reason, like now, if I were in my 20s and she would have called me, it would have been a different conversation. I would have probably been like, "Oh, I know you didn't call," something crazy like that. But it turned into this girl start crying on the phone, and I was like, "It's gonna be okay." I turned into a mother. No, I turned into auntie. I'm surprised she didn't say, "Oh, auntie," for real. I turned into auntie. I felt bad for her. I was like, "It's gonna be okay." He really didn't. And I told her, I was like, all we did was went to dinner. It was nothing like that. It's nothing serious or nothing like that. I was like, "You're gonna be okay." For real, I turned into an auntie. I felt so bad for her. She was crying and everything, and I was like, "Oh." So I just said after that, I said, "Forget it. I just can't do it." Yeah, I just can't do it. And that could clearly happen with an older man too. But mm-mm. I just rather, when you're a certain age, you just tend to know what you want, how you want it, and you're just more sure of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I was like her little, yeah. And this girl started talking. She was telling me about other stuff that he had done to her, and oh my goodness. Yeah, I felt bad for that young lady. I felt so bad for her. That's sweet. I know. Man, that was crazy. But yeah, so I did. I felt really bad for her. She was crying. Oh. So yeah, that's the reason why I choose not to get into relationships with younger men. But yeah, like I was saying, when you're a certain age, it seems like you are more sure of, right. You know what you want, right, Colfax? You know what you want. how you want it. And because and I'm sure that men have to be the same way, right? Men should, they probably know what they want, how they want it. Well, men are a little different because they're like, they probably like, okay, I'll let this pass. But women, when we get a certain age, we don't waste time. You know what I'm saying? We don't waste time. We just, just like we don't care about what people think about us. When you get to a certain age, you just like, the stuff that you went through in your 20s, it's like that goes out the door. Like, okay, worried about what people think and all that kind of stuff, that just goes out the door. You just like pleasing yourself, and you just more sure of yourself. And that's one thing about getting older. As you get older, you just, those are like the benefits of getting older. The benefits of getting older, the confidence, being more sure of yourself. You know what you want. You know what I'm saying? You don't waste time, even with just regular friendships. Like, you don't waste time with, like, crap, because you already know what's gonna come of it, right? So it's just a great thing. Living life and learning is a great thing. So yeah, let's get back to topic here. Um, so we were talking about the the Diddy trial, and we were talking about, hip hop. So okay, so cold fact, have you been following the trial at all, or what do y'all think? What do y'all think about what the stuff that's coming out? Are y'all surprised about the stuff? Oh, remember that? Well, I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna see what's now. Let me say this. Not really. Let me say this. I'm gonna tell you this, Kofax. I don't know about you or anybody else, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and just pretend like I don't think that some young men are not cute. Okay? It's some young men. I've seen some cute, some fly young men. Like the gym I go to, they have a whole basketball court in there. So when I'm on the elliptical, because I work out a lot on the elliptical, and the elliptical is facing right. The elliptical is facing the gym. The basketball court. So I have, I look, I'm human, and I look and I'm like, okay, I have seen some young men, you know, we're human. I have seen some. Oh, that's what she was saying?
Here's I heard.
Well, yeah, that's that's the part that, and I'm telling you, I've seen the stuff, and it's not really like, oh, I want him to jump my bone. It's, nothing like that, but it's like, see, it's fine, like, fly, fine, and
Sorry, I can't show the result to you while you're in the car.
you like, it's kind of funny, I just laugh at myself when I think those thoughts, you know what I'm saying? When I see something that's like, okay. Oh, let me tell you what happened. This is funny. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. So, oh my God, I was at my job, my old job. Okay, so I worked in this corporate building. Okay, it's all people of all ages, right? Okay, so I'm at my computer, and something was going on with my computer. Okay, now this guy came over. He came over to help me with my computer. Now he actually, okay, so he stood over the computer. Okay, he stood over the computer, and he was like holding my, had my mouse, and I'm still sitting in my chair. Okay, this was like a cubicle. Okay, so it was not like a whole bunch of room where I could, so I'm still in my chair, and he's like leaned over to fix my thing. let me say this. I'm not gonna lie. He smells so good. He smells so good. Oh my goodness. Now, but you know what? He wasn't really. I don't even know. I don't even think he was. I don't think he was that young. He wasn't really much younger. But yeah, I just know that guy smelled so good. I was like, it was just dreamy. Don't you love it when people smell good? Yes, he smelled so good. Oh my goodness, he smelled so good. Like I wanted to say, what are you wearing? But yeah, he smelled good. And he even, cause anyway, I'm gonna tell you though, yeah. Oof. But you know what? Your bubble is bust. Like, there was one situation where now this guy, I was not attracted to this person or anything like that, but he was looking at me a certain way. Okay, so he was looking at me a certain way. You can tell, like he had, yes, oh my goodness, a good smelling man, woo. I guess men probably sees us the same way, like a good smelling woman. I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, I was in Kroger. I was in Kroger. People, my sister said he did not do this, but this man, I'm not gonna lie, this man came up behind me, and I'm telling you, this man did this. I heard him. He said, and I think he was, smelling my fragrance. And I think I'm sure that men probably, you know, have the same issues that we have. But yeah, man, when someone smells good, woof. And see, it's not just spraying on cologne. People think it's just like spraying on cologne. No, it's you gotta find the fragrance that matches with your skin. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yes. Yeah, even women, that's right. It's nothing like a good smelling person, like a good fragrance, and it's not, like I said, it's not just the perfume, it's not just the cologne, but it's like the way certain fragrances meshes with people's skin. It's like, oh. But yeah, this guy he smelled so good. He was dreamy, like he, like how you go to work and you're like, okay, focus. You put on this work brain. He made my work brain go away quick. You know what? I guess not. I guess you have to. You know why? Probably because they have, like. Well, I know in most, like, offices you can't wear fragrances, so you probably don't smell, because that was the case with the office that I worked in. We couldn't wear strong fragrances, but he just did. He did, and I'm happy he did, because when he would walk by, oh, so gee, men go through the same thing when you smell a good smelling woman. Yes. So y'all, so when you smell it, so when a woman like walks by and she smells good, what do y'all go through the same thing? You're like, oh, that woman smells so good, like she smells good. Right, it's human nature. I guess it's my age, because it's something about, like, when I was younger, I didn't pay attention to how people smell when I was, you know, in my early 20s. I mean, as far as I can remember, I just didn't pay attention to that. But now it seems like I pay more attention to stuff like that. Stuff like that just, gets to me more, so affects me more than when I was in my early 20s. Hey, Rundown, what's up? How you doing? So yeah, we were in a whole different conversation. We're talking about, somebody asked, I can't remember who even asked about cougar. Who asked that? Somebody asked me if I was a cougar, so we got on the topic of dating younger men and men dating younger women. That's how we got on this topic. Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. We were talking about, I came in to talk about this interview with Cassius Smith and how he was spilling all this juicy information about herpes with Puffy and all this stuff, and then ASAP Rocky, he said ASAP Rocky, you know, yeah. So we were talking about that, and then, like I said, I got thrown off, and this topic is more interesting, talking about this cougars and stuff. But yeah, some young, you know what? I think that if I were single, as far as like a younger man, younger man, I probably I probably would like go on like a trip with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I would probably say, okay, let's do a weekend getaway. You know, but I don't think I would say let me like do a serious type of thing with a young guy. But yeah, I think I would have fun with a young guy, like going to the beach, you know, stuff like that. I think I would have fun. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Y'all got me blushing. I'm thinking about stuff that I should not be thinking about. Lordy. Okay. All right, so let's focus. Okay. Well, that's, yeah. Well, your opinion is important. So feel that. Oh, I know she's no angel. Yeah, she was down with some, they had a toxic relationship. Um, so you think he's guilty of like, well, we know he's guilty of domestic violence because he came out and apologized. Um, not much rundown. Just we're just talking about this stuff with Diddy and just you know we're on just just everything. But yeah, everything is good. But yeah, so Colbeck, you think that he is guilty of these things that they're trying to take him down for, like racketeering and sex trafficking? Yeah, they both, from what we learned, they both addicts allegedly. No, he wasn't. See, that's you're right. You're right. There, in your opinion, I welcome it and everything, and I want to hear what other people have to, what other people are thinking about it. But I just don't. I like when you say supplier, like these assistants. These are the ones that were bringing in this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're right. See that? You just said you nailed it, Colfax, when you said he was a supplier, and that is what keeps the top. Girl, let me tell you something. When there's a lot of drugs and alcohol involved, it's going to be a toxic situation. It's going to be toxic. Period. It's going to be probably some domestic violence. It's probably going to be some. It's just not a healthy relationship. No relationship, whether it be, whatever kind of relationship it is, like when you're over consuming and stuff, it's just, that's like a dead end. Hey Marley, how you doing? So yeah, but I think that Diddy, like, if you go all the way back to, right, he's not being charged with domestic violence. I agree with that. Right. And it's I don't condone any type of domestic violence or any type of you know um, abuse like that, but that's not what he was charged with. It is bull. I agree. I agree. I mean, this is just ridiculous, and the more information that we're hearing, the more I'm like, well, why is he? And then he was denied bond. He was denied bond, and this man is in jail. He was denied bond, and we have not yet heard of these. We haven't heard proof of this stuff. We've been hearing about a toxic relationship. It's just been about him and Cassie pretty much. You know, we've heard about the abuse that she endured. He was controlling, but guess what? Okay, that goes back to older men. When older men date younger women, okay, 19, 18, that is actually normal. The man is going to be controlling. You know what I'm saying? It was a controlling relationship. Like, the time when she and the assistant, they said they had to sneak out to go to the Prince, to go see Prince. I see what you mean. Yeah, you know what, Marley, they said that, I think it was Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar. He said that, um, I mean, on that note, but he said that Puffy sued the mother company of Ciroc because they weren't promoting to the black community. Now, I don't know that to be true, or I don't know much about that, but that's what he's in the he. So he said that's what started this stuff. But I understand what you're saying. Right, right. Tell me about it, G. Like, if he is on trial, if he's being charged with all this stuff, it should be all those, everybody. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, gee, what the feds did is they went to these other people that would be charged with him, because really the other people did all the work. They're the ones who, like Cassie, look at her, what she did. She hired her own strippers. She hired the strippers, told them where to come, gave them the instructions, paid them, all these things. So you're right. Everybody was doing it, but they just want to get that big fish. They want to get that big fish. But still, I just don't see, you know. But what I was saying was also, if you look back to when Puffy was, like, when he first hit the scene, right? If you look back to his interviews, look at Puffy. Puffy was not, I'm not saying he was unattractive, but, you know, he had, like, the big teeth, and he was, he, like, what I'm saying? He was like this. He had one of those mouths, when people grow up sucking their thumb and how the mouth kind of protrudes out or whatever. Like, he had one of those mouths. And it just didn't match. Like, he was, real small figured, and it didn't match with his, his mouth was, it was out. He just wasn't the most attractive person. But, so most of the time, when you are, anyway, some males, they tend to feel like they have to spend money to get, the same traction. Okay, now Kovac, now that part I haven't seen. You right. That's what I want to see. I want to hear some evidence about that, because now anything to do with a child, that's, yeah, I would not defend anybody, anything to do with a child. That's crazy. Yeah, nothing to do with a child, anything to do with, like, underage stuff. That's when I would draw the line with defending anybody. That just goes for anybody. I don't condone anything like that. Especially if you knowingly knew someone was underage. Right. Marley, he did. Like, how many females, right? Think about this. How many females were in toxic relationships and they walk away with $20 million? Like, that should have been over. But I wonder, was she forced to testify, or did she, was she forced to testify? She would have had to have been forced, like, subpoenaed to testify, because if he settled with her, for the 20 million last year, right? And she's on stand, testifying. She testified, then that means that they would have had to subpoena her to testify because she already settled with Puffy. Thank you. It's not illegal. That's like not normal, but it just depends on your lifestyle. That's to some people that's actually quite normal. Where you just, that's a fun thing. Get together and you know, shoot. Okay. Okay. He sued them twice and they took him down. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I see. I don't know much about that cold fact. But that's what Dr. Umar was saying. That's where this all stems from. So you never know. I hear you. I mean, I think I don't know. I know that he may have been corrupt, but I don't think he was any more corrupt than other people. Yeah, most of these people that's testifying so far are well, these assistants. I'm going to speak about the assistants. Like they were just assistants. They were just assistants, and they were doing everything that they could to make their person happy. hmm I heard that. I heard that he worked with the authorities. You have a lot of information, Colfax. To you said you didn't know much about it, but girl, you have a lot of information. That's what I heard too. I heard that Puffy was an informant at first. That's what I heard. And that yeah, and I heard that he just like when we get to a certain age and you're like just more sure of yourself. So it could have been he went through some sort of transition in his life where he got to a point where he just wanted to be, himself. And so this is what probably made him yeah. You girl, cold fact, you're right. You're right. But you know what? This happened before Puppy. As far as
Sorry, I can't show
you
the
know,
result to you while you're in the car.
it may not have been the same type of situation, but it's happened in our culture many times with these, with our people getting to a certain point, and then seeming to us like they're being taken down. So you gotta like. It seems like that's happened. And you're right. People need to pay attention. Hey, Macklin. Yeah, well, I understand. It's a lot of stuff coming out. You saw the old you saw the old, like, if you look at Puppy's old pic exactly, and if you look at how his mom treats him, I bet he was baby. He was a thumb sucker exactly, and he was probably baby. That's because people are like, why does his mom treat? She's weird kissing him, but some moms, like, that was her only son. Some moms, they're very affectionate with their sons, and they kiss them. That's just affection. But yeah, he seemed like he was probably baby, just from the way his mouth was. And his mouth is still the same way. He just grew into it. And his son, look at his son. What's his son's name that looks just like him? He actually has the same structure. Yep. Ooh. Yeah, you talking about Kim Porter's situation. I don't know about that. I sure hope he didn't, because that from my understanding, from what I heard, Albie Sure is supposed to testify. If that man gets on the stand and testifies to something, because we can't really go off rumors, but if that man says something like that, that's gonna take it to a whole different type of situation. Hey, did y'all hear about what Cassie said about Kim Porter though? I'm gonna tell you, when the first week when she was on the stand, and the stuff that I don't know if it was in the text, but when she called, she was speaking down on Kim's skin complexion, talking about she was dark, and she said old pussy. She said those things like, um it seemed like she was a little, like, really jealous of Kim, and it made me feel like, what if she had something to do with this? Because Cassie wanted to be in Kim's place. You know what I'm saying? She was jealous. She wanted to be Kim. So that's so the same things that people are saying about Kim as far as Diddy is concerned, they could say the same thing about Cassie. What if she might have had some, you know what I'm saying? She was jealous, and she seemed to be a little more on the. They both were like possessive with each other, over possessive. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to have to, like, say that's my man or that's my girl, but they were over possessive with each other. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Just like Colfax said earlier, when there's drugs and alcohol involved, toxic relationship, who knows how far that the situation got. Oh my goodness, cold. Tell me about it. Did you see that? Speaking of Clive Davis, did you see that interview where Andre Harrell said Puppy was sitting in the chair next to him. Andre Harrell said, "I was so impressed. He would do anything, to impress me." Like, at the time, I was like, yeah, Puffy was, he worked hard to get to where but then now you look at it and you're like, dang, what were you doing, But yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Cole. When you talk about Clive Davis, like, it's one thing to have a rumor, but when you have so many people saying so many different things, it's got to be some kind of truth at some point somewhere. Yep. So Mackin. So what are you saying was premeditated? Oh, I haven't heard that wasn't his mom. Yeah, I haven't heard that. I know I've heard that his father was like a big time gangster in Harlem, and I haven't heard that that wasn't his mom. I heard that she was actually, yes, I think from what I hear, she babied him. Um, she took really good care of him, and I heard that she was a really good mother. Right, he did get his teeth fixed because they were, yeah, they used to protrude so far out. Like back when I was younger, we used to call that horse mouth. That's what we used to say. Like when we would, be jawing on each other, we'd just go, "You have a horse mouth," because the teeth usually, some people's teeth would come out, and that's usually from sucking your thumb. You think now, Colfax, that book, now that's something because the book, um, her that's one of, okay, so she's from Atlanta. I mean, not from Atlanta, but they had it was her and her one of two of her best friends. They started this little organization, Three Brown Girls, and one of the girls, she said on her Instagram, one of the ladies, she said on her Instagram, she said that that is not, Kim did not write that, but how does she know? She don't know. Who knows? We don't know. I don't think anyone will ever know if that's truly, Kim's book or not. Did she write that or not? You know what I'm saying? Well, see, I don't see Kim as being. I can't compare her to Cassie because Cassie, from my understanding, Cassie was a side piece. Cassie was an artist. So Cassie, coming into the situation, she was an artist, and because she was her, she was a model first, and then she wanted to be, it, anyway, yeah, yeah. I think she was. I think she was one of those artists. There are certain artists that will do anything to get their name out. They want to be famous so bad. And I think that that's probably how everything started. I think she probably, because she wasn't the most talented person. She's beautiful, but she wasn't the most talented person. And I think that she probably knew that, because she was booed off the stage at the Madison Square Garden. So I'm sure she knew that she wasn't the most talented person. And I think she was probably just, you know, willing to do anything to, be somebody in the industry. And that's probably why how she started to do the drug, probably just was trying to impress, be impressive. You know how it is when you're young, you just try to impress and all that crap. Oh, really? Yeah, because she was jealous of Kim. She wanted to be the it's just like a side chick. So like if a man has, his main woman, so like the main woman is the woman that has to, like, anytime a man involves you with his children, that's that's how I see. I'm like, okay, that's a special person, So, but that wasn't Cassie. It was Kim. So when they would do the family vacations, when it was concerning the children, it was Kim and the children. And so Cassie wanted that motherly, she wanted to be that person as well. But she was the fun girl, she was the one that went to the freak off parties. She was the one that did the menage a trois, she was the one that partook in the activities, the drug activities and stuff. Um, so she was the fun girl, you know what I'm saying? Just like with, on a lower level, the side piece. The side piece is the fun girl, the one that's gonna, that they don't have any limitations. And then the one at home that the main person is the person that they actually are taking serious. You know what I'm saying? But Cassie didn't want. She wanted to be the main person, just from what I'm understanding. Yeah, that hotel situation, Mackin, that was very crazy. That was a very toxic. But the thing is, I'm not surprised when there's like oh, dr- drug use and alcohol. That's what it could lead to. You would have a relationship like that. Like, did you see that? Like, yeah, that's how. I mean, it's so many like, and not just on a a high level like superstardom, but there's just regular folks. When there's drugs and alcohol, their relationship is not normal. Like, you don't come in the house, hey baby, I'm home. No, it's just a toxic type of, it's a mess. It's like a circus. It's just a mess. You just can't function in those types of situations. Yeah, Mac, and you might be right about how he treated people, but also that's the way he treated people is not a crime. It's, I mean, the way he treated people, like he was the boss. He was used to people catering to him. I'm gonna tell you something. Um, my brother was a professional basketball player, and when he was playing in the NBA, the girls that he brought around, I could not believe how they treated my brother. Like, they were treating him like he was king of, you know, that's how people do when, people treat you like that. And I think that some people, like, I think because of how powerful this young, Puppy was young when he made it in the industry. So I think he was so young, and it went to his head. So when you're in a situation where everybody's kissing your butt, basically, men and women, it can go to your head. And I think it went to his head, and so he was just used to treating people a certain way, like he was, above them, because it just went to his head. It's a lot of stars that, from my understanding, that treat people like that because they just get used to people treating them like they're on a pedestal. Hmm. Yep. And you know what? I think with Cassie, I think what may have started to be, okay, this is gonna impress him. I'm gonna bring in we're gonna do a menage a trois, and he's gonna like me more, and this is gonna make him love me more, and all this stuff. And I think that it could have became an addiction for her too, not just the drugs, but also like the when you like, I don't know if y'all have ever been in a relationship where you y'all may do certain things sexually, right, to get to a certain point. Well, what happens is whatever that you start doing to get you to that point, it becomes a habit. You want to do that. You're not just gonna say, oh, this is one time. No, if it's really good, you're gonna say, oh, and it can become a habit. So I think that I think that with her, I think it probably became an addiction too, like having the other parties and the swinging situations and stuff. Yeah, I think um, from what I heard with the assistant, the one that the Mia person, like with him, if you step outside of the circle, just look at what she's saying. So she said that he was abusive to her. She said that he was controlling. He said that, all he said she said the same thing. So basically, he was treating her like allegedly he was treating Cassie. So if you think about it, she was so it just goes to show how much people will do to get fortune and fame, or to be around fortune and fame, because she for all those years she endured what she said allegedly abuse, control. He was having sex with her. From her words, he was, raping her, whatever. So that is that's like a toxic relationship. The same thing that he had, So it was like he had, like, that was his female too. It wasn't assistant. They put the labels as assistant, but really, if you think about it, it was another toxic relationship that he was having. Yep. Hey Zero, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, it's all about how you present yourself in a relationship, like, and that's what a lot of the younger women don't understand. Like, when you know how well, you don't hear many people saying it now, but first impression is a lasting impression. So the way you present yourself to a person is the way that they're going to perceive you. So if you want someone to take you serious, if you want someone to treat you with respect, if you want someone to put you on a pedestal, then that's what you have to present. You cannot be so desperate, even if you are desperate for whatever is in your head, whatever. You cannot present that. And I think that, like I said, Cassie was not the most talented person, and she just wanted so bad. She was young. She wanted to be in the music industry. And she met Puffy, and Puffy was like willing to take her on as an artist. And Puffy did try to put her out as an artist, but it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't for her. And I think she was just willing to do anything to stay in the presence of, or keep her position. I'll say that, keep her position. But you have to present yourself the way you want to be treated. That's just period. Even men, you guys, you have to present yourself the way you want to be treated. You want the girls to treat you, the women to treat you a certain way. You have to, like, present yourself that way. You know. Tell me about it, G. Love will make you do some crazy things. Oh my goodness, you said it right. Whew. Man, exactly. Yep. Men and women. That's something that we can all relate to. Like, love will make you do some crazy things oof, my goodness. that's true. Addiction will definitely, boy, takes you out of your whole self. It makes people minds is yourself. Like, when people go to what is it called when you get help, rehab. When they go to rehab from being like strung out on drugs, they go to rehab. When they appear after being in rehab for so long, it's like they're a different person, because you're right, addiction takes you out of your person. Yeah, but see, the thing is, zero, like, when you say torture is a crime, that's subjective, because if you look at the situation, like, we might say, um, oh, he tortured her, but she didn't see it as torture. That wasn't torturous at the time. They were having freak offs. Like, the way that it's being presented now, it's being presented as if it was torturous, but I mean, they didn't see it at that time. It wasn't. It was the way that they got off. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you. I thought his when I first saw the story of what's that guy, Frank? They said his father was Frank. I can't remember the last name, but the big time gangster, the one that they did the movie about, that Denzel Washington played the gangster in Harlem. They said that Puppy's father was one of his friends. But when I first heard the story of that guy, Frank, that Denzel Washington played, excuse me, I was like, that is Puppy's father. I was thinking that, because think about it. When Puppy came from Howard, Puppy went straight to New York. Puppy was doing parties at the Tunnel. Puppy was doing big parties. Like, Puppy did a party. I don't know if y'all heard about this party. Puppy did a party that where so many people came that there were people suing him because people got trampled over and injured. Like, Puppy's parties were major. So for him to be so young and have that kind of clout at that age, and he didn't even, it wasn't a bad boy thing at that time. You know what I'm saying? For him to have that kind of clout, you have to get clout from somewhere. You just can't come from college and say, okay, I'm gonna throw parties, and you know what I'm saying? You have to have some clout from somewhere. So I believe his father was somebody. And Zero, on that note too, when you say like nothing Diddy produced was ever that good. Now I enjoyed his music. I think he's very talented. But if you pay attention to back in the day, some of the other people in the industry, some of the other people, um, like in hip hop, a lot of people did not respect Puffy. There's people that did not respect him. There's people that did not respect his music that he produced. They said that he did too much sampling. You know what I'm saying? They said, um, so they said he didn't have talent. So a lot of people in hip hop that were um, that was in the hip hop culture, that producers and things like that, they didn't feel like Puffy had talent. So, but again, it wasn't about, at a certain point, it wasn't really about. It was just the when you get yourself to a certain point, anything that you touch, people are just gonna flock to. When you get to that point, and that's how it was. What did Angie Stone talk about? Talk about Puffy? What did Angie Stone talk about? That was it involving Puffy? I'll be right back, guys. Right back. out of this Georgia heat. So you think other people have recordings of the stuff that was going on in the park? But I thought Puffy, didn't they say Puffy used to take everybody's phone when they would do the freak offs, as they, well, the parties. I'm gonna say adult parties is what I'm gonna call them. Yeah, but Mackin, if you think about it, like if it were you, okay, if the feds were coming after you, and you already know what you partake in, right? Okay, it may not be what they saying it is, but you already know what they're gonna try to turn something into, right? So if you know that there's a chance that all of your hard work, and you got all these children, you got all, your mother, you got all this probably takes care of his family as well, but all of your hard work, all these things are about to be taken because of your personal adult lifestyle or whatever. Like, honestly, I don't know who wouldn't put this stuff in. If, I would do it. You know, I don't know if that's legal or not, but that's, I don't see what's wrong. I think that's a smart move to put the stuff in his mom's name so that the government doesn't take all his stuff. That man worked hard for that stuff. All his wealth, he worked hard for it. But she wasn't his wife, Zero. Cassie wasn't his wife. Oh, cold girl. We are so much alike. We are so similar minded. Yeah, but he wasn't his wife. That wasn't his wife. That was like the side piece. We just saw she was the pretty side piece, so she was the one. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's how it is on the lower level. Like the side piece, you might see her at the parties, um, because she's the flashy, pretty one. You see her at the parties, you see her at the fun stuff. But then when it comes down to the serious stuff, the family stuff, you see the real, the main piece. You know what? I can't say whether it was criminal or not. I can't say that. I do know, of course we know, like, hiring a person to have sex with you, that's a crime. You know what I'm saying? We know that's a crime. So we know that there were crimes being committed, but what we're talking about is are the stuff that he's being charged with, is he guilty of those things? On that big scale of sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Not just hiring people to come and, have the menage a trois and have strippers come to the parties like people do in the Super Bowl and stuff. But is he guilty of those things that they're charging him with? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You definitely have to respect yourself. Yeah, but Zero, we haven't seen evidence of him forcing. When you say forcing, like, that's when you say forcing someone to take drugs, for example, that's like, if I, like, when I left my cup, right, and say someone would have come and put something in my drink, that's like forcing me to do some whatever drug. But I mean, if somebody offer me something and I say, oh yeah, this is gonna get me loose so I can whatever, That's not forcing me to do anything. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep, he wanted that for himself. He was like, okay, he became possessive. Whew, tell me about it. Love is definitely, hey, definitely can feel like a drug, especially when it's not a good love. Oh my goodness, when it's not a good situation and your feelings are involved. Whew. I remember I was on my way to work one morning, and I was listening to the radio, the morning show. This girl told, it was Steve Harvey. This girl told, Steve Harvey was doing like a thing about how do you get over, how do you, when you break up with someone, how do you get over them? This girl called in and said that this is what she said. She said, "Oh, I just take Tylenol PM and I just sleep for days." That's how she said she get over her breakup. I'm like, what? Now, come on. Yeah, I mean, there had to be some kind of pharmaceutical link. Yeah, there had to be that for you to get. But now, if you listen to, like if you know what mules are, mules, the people that mules, they do the same thing. Mules for so the people that were acting as mules, which in my opinion, it was his assistants. They were transporting the drugs, so that's a mule. But the same way that the mules take the drugs to the kingpins, to the location. Like it's the same way that they were the mules. There's a mule that transports the drugs. So if you having big giant parties, where people just come as they are and they don't have to bring, and you're supposed to have this stuff there for people to it's just like you're gonna have a lot of baby oil. You're gonna have a lot of whatever y'all drug that y'all do. Yeah, many women and men probably, I'm sure, when you're not in your right mind, I'm sure that when you become sober, you probably have some regrets. I'm sure everybody does. Right. Can we sue? Oh my goodness. Can I go back and sue? I got some people I want to sue. I want to get 20 million. Hey, now come on now. That's not fair. Oh my goodness. Hey Price, welcome to the chat. Oh, you heard about that too, Mackin, about the party where people were trampled. That was his university party. Thank you for the heart. Arrogant. Yeah, he was. He was because that's how his mom raised him. He was arrogant. That's how he was raised. Yeah, I did hear that that they it's a rumor that his father was um that guy's friend, the Frank guy, but I think his father was the Frank guy. That's just what I think. Because if you look at his mom, okay, if you look back at old pictures, okay, look back at old pictures and look how she dressed. Like people looking at her now, and you see this wealthy wealthy older black woman with the big wigs and the furs and stuff. But she looked like that back in the day too. Like she was not a regular person. She was not a regular, going to work everyday person. She was not. Oh, cold. I want to see what Jay-Z had to. And whatever happened to that person that was suing Jay-Z and Puffy, and all of a sudden they just pulled back their withdrew their lawsuit. Interesting, huh? You think he's a predator, Zero? Lock him up, forget about him. Yeah, we all have our opinions. We all have our opinion. We're entitled to our opinions. You know, if you just gotta follow the case, if you follow everything, you know, it's okay to have a different opinion than other people. It's fine because we all have our opinions about stuff, and our opinions also comes from our own personal life experiences too. Gee, did you just brought up something that's interesting. What the world? This man, people are laughing like, okay, Russell Simmons has escaped and went to another country and all this. I don't know if anybody remembers, but when Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons were like the power couple in the hip hop industry, when they were the power couple, everybody was talking. It was a rumor that they were swingers. Remember? They were talking about they were swingers. So this is not just a puppy thing. This is, allegedly. This is not just a puppy thing. This was way before puppy. What song? You said Puffy's gonna hate that song now. What song you talking about? That was a guy. Oh, you talking about the producer? I think his name was Ron or Rob Colbeck. That guy that was, yeah. He did record some things. He did say he had recordings. Yeah, I want to. We this is only the fourth week of the trial. This is only the fourth week of the trial, so we got a lot of more stuff that's gonna come out. But yeah, Russell was like, I'm out of here. And you know what? I think that that's why Kimora is so excuse me, Kimora Lee. I think that's why she was so close to Kim because they had that in common. She lived a life that she probably didn't want to live necessarily. She was just trying to please her husband. And who knows what she may have gone through. And that may be what tied her and Kim together, like their experience with the swinging lifestyle. Because that can, I mean, I can't imagine being in a swinging relationship where especially if it becomes like something that we do all the time. I just can't imagine it. And that's like what Cassie was saying. She was like tired of the freak offs. Well, Zero, I'm not necessarily defending him. I'm just going off of just facts, just the facts that have come out. Like I said, I'm not defending him. I, as well as you, saw the video of all the abuse, that we saw that with our own eyes. So I wouldn't dare defend that. I think that I don't think he was a good boyfriend. I think he was, he had lots. I think he had lots of women. I think he, I think he did sleep with his assistants. Because sometimes in certain situations, like I've heard of people hiring that person that they're sleeping with as the assistant to disguise the situation. So, yeah, he said, let's stay focused. You think he deserves to lose everything? Mm, all right. Wow, you guys feel very harsh. Zero and G. So it's like y'all are like, take away his stuff, get rid of him. But why? What makes you like? What's the what makes you feel so strong about that? Like, is there like, woo? So okay, now I'm noticing the men. I'm noticing the males. Y'all are really strong. Y'all have strong feelings about him. Just take away the key. So so when you like cutthroat, take away the key, throw him away, take all his stuff. Like, what makes you feel that way? Based on the facts, based on what we've heard, what's come out, the alleged information, because this is still a hearing. He's still innocent until proven guilty. Remember that. But what makes you feel so strong about like that? Mm-mm. No, I'm not making excuses for bad behavior. Yeah, I'm not making excuses for bad behavior. I feel bad for women who are involved in domestic violence relationships. Um, I would not, if I would never let someone that I know who is 19, which that's, she was actually a little younger when she met Puppy, but I would never let, or I wouldn't agree to a 19-year-old dating a 31-year-old. I don't know, however old he was, because that's going to be a controlling relationship, in my opinion. So I don't condone bad behavior. I don't agree with people in relationships and there's drugs and stuff involved. I think it's going to be a toxic relationship, whether you're a star or not, whether you're in the music industry or not. Um, yeah, yeah, you're talking about Russell Simmons macking, but we're not now. We talking about on the run. The man, he's not on the run. That's just how they're portraying it. Like, okay, he left the country because he don't want no part. But no, he's not on the run. He's not been charged with anything. Yeah, and that's another thing, Mac, and just like what you said, like Russell was, shoot, uh, Kamora, they try to hide that too about like how old she was when Russell met her. But again, that is going to be a controlling situation. You meet this young woman and this older man, and especially an older man with money and power, and he can. God, no, I just wouldn't condone that if it were my sister, or I don't care how much money he had. I wouldn't condone um, a pretty much a teenager marrying an older man. Oh yeah, I can imagine if you have daughters, G. I know what you mean. It makes you upset hearing all these things because you would never want your daughters to be involved in a situation like that for sure. No one would. Yeah, and see, but you have to remember, like, these are people on the stand. This is not factual information yet. The stuff that they're saying, the stuff that they're portraying, the way that they're putting it out there, it's not factual information. This is just stuff that they're testifying to. So keep in mind that he is innocent until proven guilty. But you're exactly right. I would never want the way that they're portraying it. No one would want their sister, daughter to be in a situation like that for sure. Hmm. I know that they really don't care. Yeah, they really don't care. Yeah, I don't condone domestic violence at all, whether it be the man or the female. I don't condone that at all. I feel very bad for women who are in these relationships where they're stay in these relationships for years and years, enduring physical abuse, mental abuse. Like, I don't condone that at all, and I really despise when people who think that they have that kind of control over the next person to abuse people like that, you know. So we definitely don't condone domestic violence. And shoot, if I had it my way, all women that were in, or not just women, because it's women that abuse men too, but all domestic violence people who were involved in relationships that were where they were physically abused, they should get $20 million too. Hey, you walk away with anyway. Yeah, not only that. Yeah, G, but 50 Cent's been saying this stuff for many years before the feds brought these charges out, before Cassie sued Puffy. Like, 50 Cent was talking about this years and years ago. He was talking about Puffy and his side lifestyle. And people thought not because 50 Cent always had something to say about people, they thought he was just being a troublemaker. Russell's like, leave me out of it. Because Russell's like, oh, shoot. Same stuff we used to do back in the day. They're trying to charge him with, what? What you mean you were 10 years old and knew this guy was up to no good? You didn't like Puppy when you were younger? Exactly. Call back. They have not. Now, the day when I see someone underage that was forced to do something, or not even forced, but that partook in something and they were underage, that's a different story. That's a different story. But I don't see that. I don't see him being. Um, I just don't see that. I see him being um, one of those hyper sexuality type of people. Hyper. What do you call it? Hyper sex type of people that like over sexual people. I see him being that. But who strung who out though? That's the thing. Did Cassie introduce him to this, trying to impress him with the lifestyle, or did he? You don't know who introduced what to who. Yep, PTSD. That's what. Yeah, people, especially if you endure like years and years of domestic violence. That's that has to be very hard. That has to be a very hard situation. All right, Zero. I always say no to a Diddy party. Like I said, that's subjective now. Some people might say, hey, some people. mm, I know that. That's what I feel. I feel like because they said the strongest witness that the prosecution had was Cassie. Cassie testified first. She was the first week. So I'm like, okay, the testimony that, you know, she gave was talking about their relationship over the 15-year time frame. Like, they had a horrible relationship. He was controlling. She was also very possessive of him too. She didn't want him talking to other people, and just they had a very toxic relationship. They were very jealous of each other, and yeah, I don't know what's gonna come of whatever. What's gonna come out of this? We don't know. Let's just keep watching and keep following it, and we'll see. We'll see what's gonna come out. Did I lose connection? Yeah, they gave all the witnesses immunity because all of them were involved in the same stuff. It's crazy. So this next witness, I think, is another witness that's going to be going by a pseudonym. So their identity is going to be hidden, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right. So the most expensive immunity ever. I know that. Shit. She walked away with. Did you hear the? I think it was the first week they were talking about when the cross examination, when the defense went to cross examine her, they said, so you had scheduled a tour, and then when you got the 20 million, you had canceled the tour. Like she was like, okay, I'm set. It's like, well, I don't have to go on the tour. Shoot, that's something. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should do like a live once a week? do our 5 o'clock live once a week, or you think? What do y'all think? Y'all gonna come and partake in the 5 o'clock live on Tuesdays? Thank you. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do a live once. We're gonna keep it at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays, and we're gonna see what goes on this next week with the trial, and we'll come back and talk about it. So I'll see you all next Tuesday. Thank you all for subscribing and liking the video, and thank you for just coming and watching and partaking in the conversation too. I really appreciate it. I will. I will, Cole. You're definitely number one on my list. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you guys. See you next week, 5 o'clock, Tuesday, okay? Peace.